Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Before I start, I just want to address this little thing here. When I was homeless, I used to cut my own hair, and recently I've gone back to my barber, and he says I should grow this out to match the rest. So him being the professional, I'm going to follow his advice. Probably doesn't bug anybody else, but it bugs the shit out of me. Today I want to address a legal practice that preys on poor and working class people. I'm talking about cash advance and payday loan firms, or as I refer to them, legal loan sharks. They open in poor working class neighborhoods and directly market to people who live paycheck to paycheck. A recent study shows that approximately 53% of Canadians live this way. And when they find themselves in a difficult situation, which they invariably will sooner or later, cash advance businesses advertise an easy and appealing solution: cash in your hand now. But that's how they get their hooks in. The high interest rates and added fees trap you in a downward spiral of loans, and it's nearly impossible to escape. The only way to free yourself is to get lucky and come into enough money to break the cycle, or declare bankruptcy. Payday lending is one part of a larger subprime financial market that includes check cashing, prepaid credit cards, automobile title loans, injury loans, mortgages especially. There are people who have spent their entire lives studying the subject, and I could make a whole video series about how subprime financial markets exploit the poor. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to speak about my experience with payday loans and some of the information I've gathered while researching this video. Before deregulation in the early 80s made it legal to charge people an arm and a leg for loans, the term for this was usury. Usury is charging unreasonably high interest rates on short-term loans, and it has been viewed with contempt throughout all of recorded history. This goes all the way back to Aristotle, who said this about usury: the most hated sort of money-making, and with greatest reason, is usury, which makes a gain out of money itself and not from the natural use of it. For money was intended merely for exchange, not for increase of interest. This term interest implies the birth of money from money, wherefore of all modes of money-making, this is the most unnatural. Money Mart is Canada's largest lender and the name Canadians most associate with payday loans. It was opened as a check cashing business in Edmonton, Alberta in 1982, and it remained that way until 1996, when they were purchased by the American company Dollar Financial. In 1993, in the American South, payday loan places were first seen. They were exploiting the low per capita income of many southern states. In Canada, in 1996, Money Mart, the newly acquired subsidiary of Dollar Financial, followed suit and started offering payday loans to Alberta's transient working population. At that time, the only law on the books was federal, and it allows for a ridiculous maximum of 60% APR, which is an annual percentage rate, and that isn't even including the processing fees and what they are allowed to charge if you're late for any reason, which happens all the time with this demographic. It was basically a license to print money, which is why from 1996 until the mid-2000s, there was such an unprecedented amount of lenders popping up. Hundreds of different companies across North America with tens of thousands of branches, eventually spreading around the globe. Canada itself has thousands of cash advance branches, and it's a multi-billion-dollar business. In my city, Hamilton, including all the surrounding suburbs, we have a little over 500,000 people. This is a list of the different payday lending companies there are currently. Money Mart, Money Direct, Lend Direct, Mayday Payday, Pay Today, Fast Cash, Check-in Cash, Express Cash, Cold Cash, Cash Money, Cash Store, Cash Depot, Cash for You. There are many others that have closed, and I probably missed one or two, and there are dozens more in other Ontario cities. Most of the names I mentioned have several branches, and that isn't including all the online lenders that have recently sprung up. of which there are literally hundreds. The market is huge.